Hi, doing a bit of pruning on this oak tree. It's got a lovely shape, it's got a lovely trunk in there, lovely nebari, but it's got a little bit overgrown, so we can't actually see inside the tree. So I'm going to go through and just opening up a little bit, take off any dominant shoots and get a little bit of shape back into it. First thing I'm going to do is just remove any obvious big heavy shoots on the ends of the branches, and that allows me to see a little bit further inside. Also, at this stage it's really good to use the heavier branches, the really ones that are sort of standing out. That said, I can't really see one to show you. There, that's one there, that's great. Very thick and heavy, so it's a dominant shoot. So then I can identify very quickly, just by looking at this, that I can prune back quite a lot further inside the tree, back in here, because I know that's a heavy branch. And that'll allow some of the shoots further back inside the tree to then grow out. So very quickly I can see that is a little twig or branch which needs to come back. So I look in there and I prune him back so the new bud will come out. Also, there's some sticky uppy ones here, ones that are sticking straight up. We certainly don't want those. So very quickly we can prune that section. So by just having a quick look around and picking out the heavier shoots, it allows me to do a prune fairly quickly. I don't want to rush it, but I've got hundreds of these to do. So by learning little techniques that I can do very quickly, identifying strong shoots, pruning those back, and then I can go round again and then do the sort of more finer and delicate work and selecting certain buds and shoots to grow in the direction that we need them to be. Ignore the weeds. Any ones as I'm going around that are growing in the wrong direction. So this one here is growing from the outside of this branch right back underneath and into the centre of the tree. Well, we don't want that. This one's doing the same. So just going to have a look around and take off those obvious ones first. Don't always cut them right back. Go round, take them off, and then on the second time round, then I can be a lot more selective. Start to look for buds that are growing in the right direction, in the right places of the branch. And then once I've been around and I've got the worst ones, the really heavy ones, really thick, strong shoots, then I can be a little bit more selective. And then I start at the bottom of the tree and work my way up. And it's just a question of getting in there, opening up the canopy, see what's going on in there. Sometimes it might just be the little tips, sometimes it might be a much longer section of the branch. Sorry about Pogo barking in the background, it's my daughter's dog. And quite often at this sort of stage I am just actually taking off the very tips of the branches as I go round. So this is an English oak. It's one of many which I started growing around about 30 years ago, just from acorns. I love English trees. Well, I love all trees, but I really have a passion for our trees. I suppose that's what I've grown up with, and I've really enjoyed growing these. Learning about them, what they need, what they like, don't like. And of course, by taking off these more powerful twigs, branches, it helps to send out more shoots, and the more shoots, the more little buds we encourage, then the more foliage we'll get, and that foliage will reduce down and down and down. So we've still got some fairly large leaves. These are probably about half to a third of the size of a full-grown oak leaf, and gradually we'll reduce them down, and we'll get them down to about this sort of size, and then that looks really good. I like my oak trees to actually look like oak trees, that sort of nice mushroomy shape from some of the old pollarded trees that we have, and I tend not to try to make them too paddy, too let's say bonsai then, for want of a better word. So I like this overall sort of canopy, but I do like to be able to see inside the tree, to see those big thick lovely branches, which the oak trees are renowned for. So take off the big heavy ones, encourage the smaller ones further down the branch. Sometimes I'll just take off the odd big heavy leaf. So if we take a look inside here, I can explain it a little bit clearer. So you can just move some of these little twigs around a bit, see what's going on. There's a little bit of a dead twig. I'll clean that one out. This one here is growing very upright, so I'm going to take him off at the base and encourage the ones that are coming out and away from the trunk. Get that one to bud back, change direction a little bit. He's sort of pointing in, take that one out. There's the blackbirds singing in the background, I love that. Take out just a tip, stop him from extending out. One sticking up there, take out the tip there. Starts to open up now, and it might look a little bit thin, but like I said earlier, once those new buds have started to sprout in the next few weeks, we'll have some smaller leaves and they'll be in a nicer position. And sometimes we have twigs going into a space. This one's trying to pretend he's part of the crown, but he's not. He's actually part of the branch. So just going to take them on back, take him out. I can see one in there going from one side to the other. It's really good to look up inside, especially when you get this sort of full canopy, and then you can really see what's going on. What I'll do is I'll give you a shot from inside, looking up. So here we are, just having a look inside now. You can see what's actually going on in there. I keep turning, working my way around because I always miss some, and that way looking at it from different angles is a good idea. There, that looks better. So now we can see inside. We can see that trunk, because it really is a lovely trunk. A lot of character developing in there. And lots of nice shape coming on the top part of the trunk. Gradually in time, this will thicken up here and blend in nicely with this. But it's all looking lovely. Now we can see into the bonsai. We can see everything that's going on in there. That's what gives the bonsai its real character and its strength. There's no point just looking at a big ball of leaves. The leaves really are the icing on the cake to me. So there we go. That's that one finished. Many more waiting. So let's put this one over here for now. Surprising how heavy they are. And on to the next one. Really is a never-ending job. Maybe we'll put this one in another video. But for now, take care.